Good afternoon. My name is Elder Fred H. Porter, pastor of the Missionary Church of God in Christ, located at 7460 Southwest Moreland Road, Suite 105 in the great city of Dallas, Texas. Our zip code is 75237. I want to welcome you to the Texas Christian Television Network and the Missionary Church of God in Christ Television Network and the 165 Community Forum. The 165 Community Forum is a community forum where we discuss the critical point situations that affect our children, our parents, our spouses, our friends, and our country. Today, we're going to talk about the SAVE Act. The 119th Congress of 2025 and 2026 has this SAFE Act bill that is sponsored by Representative Chip Roy of Irving, Texas. Now, this SAVE Act has caused a lot of confusion and problems, but we're going to look at it right quick and see exactly what it's about and why it came about. Now, this bill requires individuals to provide documentary proof of U.S. citizenships when registering to vote in federal elections. Now, that is simple and cut. If you want to vote in the United States of America, federal elections, which should spill, I'm pretty sure, down into state and county elections, you must be a citizen of the United States of America. Now, that's a no-brainer. Now, me being a United States citizen, if I wanted to go to Great Britain or even Mexico and wanted to vote, I would have to be a citizen. In fact, you have to be a citizen of Mexico to buy property in Mexico. You can't just move to Guadalajara and buy property unless you are a Mexican citizen. And I understand that. I respect that. Now, as Americans, we have to understand that people have to show us the same respect. If you come into my country, you have to come into my country legally. And if you expect to vote in my country, you have to be a citizen of the United States of America. And I thank God for Representative Chip Roy, and I believe he's running for senator. And I'm not campaigning for him, but because of men like him, we need him in our government, because he has the common sense to say, if you're going to vote in our elections, you must adhere to the constitutional laws of our country, which means if you are coming to our country, you have to come in correctly. Now, as I say, this bill prohibits states from accepting and processing an application to register to vote in a federal election unless the applicant presents documentary proof of U.S. citizenship. Now, you would say, well, you mean there are states that will let a person just come in and vote? Yes. The state of California wants people to just be able to come in, and one of the things that we have to understand, during the time that our borders was open, people would come in and they had a little QR code that they could scan or a number that they can call, and they would be given a number, and guess what? They would be given a Social Security number and card, not even vetted. We don't know if the person that came in is a terrorist that would like to explode a dirty bomb, or kidnap children and take them across the border and sell them. This happens. And here in the state of Texas, Dallas is one of the most horrific human traffic lanes there is. Now, we'll cover that in another section, but now we're talking about the SAVE Act. We're talking about why it is important for everyone that wants to vote in our country to be a legal citizen. Now, if I went to Mexico, there were certain things I would have to do. I would have to check in with immigration. You know, if I didn't, I would go to jail. But why is it that people, and when I say people, I'm talking about people in our government, people that we vote for, people that we say we want you to represent us in this great federal republic. Why are they usurping the laws of our country, of our Constitution, and say, no, you just come in. We'll open the border, you come in, we'll give you a Social Security card, you know, we'll put you on food stamps, we'll give you Medicaid, we will give you housing. And guess what? You will get housing before the citizens here in America. Don't believe me? Ask the people in New York City. Ask the people in Chicago. Now, one of the things I want us to understand, because this SAVE Act have opened our country up to attack. And we need to hold the people responsible for making sure that this SAVE Act doesn't happen. They're saying that unless you defund the Department of Homeland Security, unless you get rid of ICE, and since I am here in the state of Texas, in Dallas, Texas, we have a lady that, and it's public information, Jasmine Crockett. She says she is the #1 enemy of the immigration enforcement ICE. Okay, now, if you are the #1 enemy of a federal department, we need to make sure that you are not in our government. In fact, we might need to make sure that everyone knows that you want us to be open to terrorist attacks, drug deals, human trafficking. This is what ICE fights. This is what the Department of Homeland Security fights. And all of these people that are standing against this, we need to make sure in the coming election that they do not report back to county, city, state, and federal government. And we do this by saying, you do not represent us, so you will not get our vote. Now, let me go on with this SAVE Act. Okay, the bill specifically specifies what documents are considered acceptable proof of U.S. citizenship, such as identification that complies with the Real ID Act of 2005 that indicates U.S. citizenship. Now, you have people that would have us to think that it is too hard or costs too much for us to have the identification that is required. Well, I'm going to tell you what. If you want to have a bank account, you have to have a Social Security card. You have to have state ID. Okay. If you want to go to college, if you want to go to school, if you want to, get a job, all of these are required. And guess what? Even if you want to volunteer to shovel snow in New York City, you have to have these documents. So what I'm saying is, it is very important for cognitive Americans to understand it's a no-brainer. If I need to open up a checking account, that's what the bank is going to ask me for. So it's more important for me to have these documents if I want to live here in America. One of the things that we need to make sure is that we are not into the herd of people that do not think. Again, we thank you for joining us here on the 165 Community Forum. And I would like to encourage everyone, if you have not voted, and when you vote on the 3rd of March, make sure you know who you are voting for. Make sure you know what the person stands for. Make sure that these people are putting America first. Now, when I say America first, we live in the United States of America, okay? We need to make sure that our economic, okay, our social, and even our spiritual understanding comes before any other ideology or any other government. That's what putting America first means to me, and I hope it means the same to you. Again, thank you for joining us on the 165 Community Forum.